This film is based off the story that inspired Moby Dick, the true story that inspired Moby Dick. So that one friend who got into like the 3-hour debate with me over the fact that there is no physical way the bloop could be real because a creature of that size in the ocean we never would have noticed, or that kind of thing, I just want to say to you, I win. Big whales are here. In the Heart of the Sea. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, In the Heart of the Sea is the film that is based off the true story that inspired the beloved classic novel Moby Dick. Now, Moby Dick is actually one of the first chapter books I ever remember reading. I thought it was compelling, and it was a great adventure story, and it's probably the origin of the source that made me love monster movies. When I went into this film, I was very intrigued to see what the true story of it was, or what they say is the true story. And I have to say, I enjoyed it. I think that this film is a very, very good period piece, and I feel like history classes or literature classes might show this. I found it to be a very interesting one. So this film is directed by Ron Howard and stars Chris Hemsworth and Tom Holland, who's gonna be Spider-Man in the MCU. So yes, I have to say I was very curious to watch Tom Holland act, and he did a great job. Chris Hemsworth did as well. I feel like he didn't have to show as much acting range until the third act, and so when he did show what he could do in the third act, he did amazing. Chris Hemsworth is always great, of course. So Ron Howard's cinematography in this film, I have to just say, he loves close-ups in this film. Oh my god, Ron Howard shot this movie where you'll have your scenes going on and all the cool stuff, and it's shot really dynamically, and then randomly there's like a GoPro shot where all of a sudden we're focusing on like an oar or a row or a piece of sail. But yet somehow it's a close-up for the shot, so it still works. But I was watching the movie going, dude, you love close-ups right now. Ron Howard had this amazing level of scope in this film, but at the same time, he kept shooting all these close-ups. And I do have to say that I did get a little bit tired of him, because I could almost cue on a beat the way he was setting up a scene, where I'd be like, big, wide, epic shot, intimate shot. Here comes that inevitable GoPro shot, and repeat. So I do have to say that that was a negative. And I do have to say that because this is the true story that inspired Moby Dick, not the story of Moby Dick, there are moments that you think that cinematic things are going to happen, and they just don't. So it's a little bit drier than if you're going to watch the old school Moby Dick movie. I do have to say that there are these moments where you're like, oh man, it's going to get crazy. Oh, and they're just continuing on their boat ride. Oh, and then this is gonna... Oh, wow. They didn't do anything. Okay. So let's get back to rowing. Rowing, rowing, rowing. We like to ride on the sea and we're rowing. I do have to say, some people are going to be put off by that there's these moments that you think something epic is going to happen and it just doesn't. But at the same time, it made me appreciate the true story, because like this is supposed to be a true story. That means this giant whale put these people through trauma. It is inspiring to see. It is crazy interesting to me anyway that this supposedly happened. And so while it is drier than the conventional Moby Dick story, you can appreciate what this man was told about what was going to happen. Herman Melville, what he was told. I do have to say, one big prop also with the cinematography is how they filmed the whale itself. Ron Howard utilized a lot of POV shots. I'm not talking found footage, POV shots where it's shot from the perspective of human height. and then the whale scene happens, and you're watching it how you would see it if you were in the boat. And I have to say, that makes the whale scale seem enormous. This whale is huge. So when the big tail comes out from under the water, and your camera's right here, and you're like, sweet nanny, and it hits the ground, you're on the edge of your seat, and your jaw is on the floor. Ron Howard, props to you for that amazing cinematography and some of the best special effects I've seen in a long time. I loved In the Heart of the Sea. Randomly my power cut out in the middle of the review, and that just killed my mojo. That was random. I have to say, it was kind of weird. It just went black, and I was like, am I dead? Anyways, what I do have to say is, guys, gals, and everything in between, this film I definitely enjoyed. I recommend it wholeheartedly. You have to go in understanding this isn't going to be as cinematic as Moby Dick, because he did take creative liberties, and he cut some things out from the book that would be in bad taste for the people this actually happened to. So it's interesting to see what he cut out and what he put in place, and I found it fascinating. So I have to say that In the Heart of the Sea is big screen worthy. If you are a non-conventional movie, like if you aren't a film aficionado or a history aficionado, I would have to say maybe a discount screening, but either way, I recommend seeing this on the big screen. Alright, what did you guys think of In the Heart of the Sea? Did you appreciate the film like I did? Comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. Wheels!